Secrets of Moor Hall Studios, Gaumont British Animation, Part 27, Marfans Syndrome and Amelia Earhart, Charles Lindbergh family, and the J.P. Weyerhaeuser family at Moor Hall Studios. Here's where the original pictures came from. Original research and production by Mitchell E. Brooks. Here's a way to get me, but this is the preferred way to get me. Okay, here is the fair use statement. In a word from me, safe to go back in the water. I began making this video over 3 years ago and it's now completed. I have a lot more requiring filming. Where have I been? I'll try and slowly present information about what's gone on, but you notice this is my voice and the slides are done in my style. So in the words of Kim Luck, this is me. Mostly my videos have been ignored, defamed, and downplayed, but not completely. One group of people took strong notice of me, other than my fans, and arranged for the FBI to send me a brand new missing persons case, a kid. The issue was, I found the kid when I really wasn't supposed to, and most of the other people in the photos. I caused a lot of problems for the kid, his father, and some other people. Father turned out to be the mastermind of 9/11 and bankrolled it. He was the bottom line guy, the man behind 9/11. You never think you'd figure these things out, but this was him. And while the New World Order had not been fully formed at that time, he would have been considered the richest man alive and the most powerful monarch on the planet, which really surprised me. There have been, there have been past attempts on my life, but this case really upped the ante. This led to multiple attempts on my life. I did everything I could to avoid getting killed, including varying my schedule, parking in different places, turning off my iPhone, and building an escape route out of my building. Some of what went on is not believable, but is posted elsewhere under my real name. This man passed on in 2015, as did one of his sons, along with Adolf Hitler. Ed was correct, he was still alive, and I have the last photo of him, also from 2015. Spiro Agnew also passed on, who I had identified as a higher-up at Disney and turned out to be one of the architects of the Holocaust. I mentioned the Battle of Jade Helm on my Facebook page, and I stand by my words. I'll delineate this further down the road. I also used a slang term for a woman, hottie. Someone said that couldn't be me because I'd never used that term. It was me. This video is where I was up to before the FBI sent me the missing person case. I am now clear enough and safe enough to complete this series of videos, merely sidetracked by several murder-for-hire programs, saving 2/3 of the United States from annihilation, and meeting some really awesome people, some of whom tried to kill me. I usually don't begrudge anyone wanting or trying to kill me. I don't necessarily let them succeed, which pissed off a number of people who felt I should be dead instead of their loved ones. Some of these people paid dearly for their attempts against me. It'll be anticlimactic moving on with Moor Hall Studios after this build-up, but I promised myself I'd finish it up, and Baruch Hashem, blessed is his name, I'm here to do it. Some people know I was deep underground. Some people should know I was deep underground and made a lot of close friends within the soft opposition. People not necessarily in agreement with the master plan, but forced to go along with it. I was used and I was abused, but I mostly had a pretty good time of things. Some of the opposition are gone worldwide. I've taken over several of their agencies. It's funny how things work out. The world is a lot safer today than it was in 2015. Just when you thought it was safe to go into the water. Moor Hall Studios. Remember, it only gets worse, unless, of course, it gets better. And those of you worried about North and South Korea, save your worries. All this is crap just to promote the upcoming Olympics. Remember, there's no such thing as bad publicity, and you have to think like these people to figure out what's going on. Last piece, I was promised that the number of vaccines administered to our children would be cut in half. The mercury needs to be eliminated as well. To date, this has not happened. And we're here. We're back after 3.5 years. Here's the left turn at Albuquerque I promised you. This is where we left off, a reference to Bugs Bunny getting lost, winding up in some place, strange place, and saying, I knew I should have taken that left at Albuquerque, which I believe is still in New Mexico. Apparently, there were a great number of amputees' birth defects and deformities at Moor Studios. Let's take a minute and talk about Marfans syndrome. Marfans syndrome, also known as Marfans syndrome, is a genetic disorder of human connective tissue. It has various expressions ranging from mild to severe. The most serious complications are defects of the heart valves and aorta, which often lead to early death. The syndrome may affect the lungs, eyes, dural sac surrounding the spinal cord, the skeleton, and the hard palate. People with Marfans tend to be unusually tall with long limbs, long thin fingers, hands, feet, and toes. Here's a whole family with Marfans syndrome. Reminder, put your finger on the pause button so you can enjoy the slides. Wow, interesting. Here's a gal with Marfan syndrome. I would call her Marfanesque. Sort of like Rubenesque, but really tall. Another one, Marfanesque. And wow, look at those hands. Really long fingers, hands, amazing. Again, Marfan syndrome. She has a contracture here. So, which one of these has Marfan syndrome? All right, here's Amelia Earhart, and she's behind the in front of a plane backdrop that doesn't appear to be a real plane. And boy, it's an attractive picture of her. She's younger here, and she's kind of yummy looking. And this was parts 22, 24, 25, 26. The Amelia Earhart, Lindbergh baby, and George Weyerhaeuser kidnapping. I promised I'd find everybody in this photo, and I have. And I actually have stuff I'm going to add. I want to point out a couple things because, again, I identified the Lindberghs here. That's the Lindbergh baby, and that's Charles Lindbergh, the father. This, I believe, is Anne Weyerhaeuser. I have a few doubts, but I'm still pretty sure it's her. Joe Flynn, Stanley Kubrick, Basil Rathbone, James Whale, the great director, a baby picture of Charles Lindbergh, Alfred Hitchcock. This is Amelia Earhart, Harmon Whaley, the kidnapper of the Lindbergh baby, and George Weyerhaeuser. And so a girl here playing a boy. Girl playing a boy. Now, just a couple things before we move on, which I hadn't noticed. One, I'd figured out that Charles Lindbergh Jr. looked a heck of a lot like Amelia Earhart, and I figured them for brother and sister, or perhaps cousins. But here's an interesting one. This is Charles Lindbergh, who was kidnapped, and this is George Weyerhaeuser. This is by definition. That's the Lindbergh baby. George Weyerhaeuser. They look significantly significantly alike. And I don't believe it's the same person. I know it's not the same person, but I suspect this is, again, a relative of Lindbergh baby and Amelia Earhart. They're probably either first cousins or brothers and sisters. It's possible Anne Weyerhaeuser is also related. This gentleman here is Harmon Whaley. I have his real name. I don't know where I put it. I have the name of the actor. and he appears to be related to James Whale. They look considerably alike. They could be brothers or, again, cousins. So, all right, I'm going to move on. I hope I delineate this, but last piece of this is most of the people in this slide here, with the exception of the great actors and great directors, have physical deformities. And my thinking on this is chances are most of these people here, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them are likely to have royal blood. There's a lot of inbreeding with royal blood. And Moor Studios was not far from London, where there was a major hospital and hospital clinic that dealt with deformities and deformities of the hands. So Walt Disney was big into prosthetics and into prosthetics, and he would have used and liked the work done here with all the people with deformities. I think it originates from the need to help through royal blood. So that's Amelia Earhart sitting next to Alfred Hitchcock. And if you take a look at her right hand, and here's a blow-up of it, it's a mishmash of stuff here. It's really hard to delineate exactly what's going on. I suspect, well, I don't know what to suspect, to tell you the truth. It's too much weird. It's holding up her drink, and I don't know, this looks like a wrench here. I said that these two could be real fingers, but to tell you the truth, I really can't tell. I don't know what the heck that is. It's a mishmash. I don't think it's real, and I think this is a harness that's going over her sweater. Might be going under her sweater for all I know. Yeah, I think it enters into the sweater over here, and it's the same color. But I can't tell you. Again, it's a mishmash. Appears to be an O-ring under her pinky, all right? I guess this is the O-ring. It's hard. Yeah, there it is. Hard to delineate. You know, my slides are high definition, but the original pictures are not. What's this now? The prosthetic with a harness, O-ring, and other supports are helping hold a cup of tea in place. All right. I don't know what else to say about this. Other than, again, it's a mishmash. There's more evidence that this photo is completely staged. It would have taken quite a while to set this up. Right, no doubt. So we have no other photos of this woman who played Amelia Earhart, so we'll look at Amelia Earhart photos. Now, this is 100%. I don't think you're going to find a closer match unless she's an identical twin or a fraternal twin, which does happen. People get fooled because of twins sometimes, so we have to keep that in mind. This again, Amelia Earhart, and this is the woman from Moor Studios, who I have defined as Amelia, and with good reason, considering we have other missing people in the slide, and we have the Lindberghs in there. There's Amelia Earhart on her plane.